if you consider only the weather of the month that just ended. And if you didn't know it was February, would you have guessed that? I mean, after all, in State College, for example, 2 days were in the 70s, 13 days were 50 or higher, just an inch of snow. Sounds more like March, even April. You might even ask, could March be colder than February this year? Well, first, let's look at how much warmer March is on average than February. Areas in orange here are 6 to 8 degrees warmer. Red is 8 to 10. Those colors dominate much of the eastern U.S. Generally, as you head toward the interior, the average difference increases, while as you head south and toward the moderating effect of Gulf and Atlantic waters, the average change from February to March decreases, just 2 to 4 degrees in the Florida Peninsula. If we focus on Pennsylvania and look at the major observing sites, it's pretty consistent that March is between 7 and 9 degrees warmer than February on average. Now, the simplest way for March to end up colder than February is to have a very mild February and then an unusually cool March. February definitely cooperated this year east of the Mississippi, with many places 6 to 9 degrees warmer than average. And if we check out specific locations in Pennsylvania, here's how February ended up. From 4 degrees above average in Allentown to more than plus 10 in DuBois. So this begs the question, what would the March temperature departure have to be this year in Pennsylvania for March to end up colder than February? Well, here's the answer. In most places, just a degree or two below average would do it. In State College, an average March would actually be colder than February. And in the high ground of the West, March could even end up a little warmer than average and still be colder than February. And that's pretty remarkable. How strange is it for March to be colder than February? Well, I ran the stats for a few states. Up north in Maine, where the statewide average change from February to March is about 10 degrees, it's rare, just twice since 1895. Farther to the south, it's happened 6 times in Pennsylvania, Illinois, and North Carolina, with 2 of those 6 years in Pennsylvania being relatively recent. In the Deep South, where the typical change from February to March isn't as big, it's a little more common. 13 years in Florida, 11 times in Mississippi. What about this year in Pennsylvania? Well, with a pattern shift likely in about a week, even though the first few days of March will be relatively mild, it would not surprise me at all if March ended up colder than February. Stay tuned. The weekend and beyond is part of the extended forecast next.